What's up, everybody? This is Quet, and today we're going to continue talking about higher order functions, and today's function is the map function. The map function works very similar to the for each function. If you watched my last video on for each, you can see that I talked about it a little bit. If you haven't, make sure you check that video out. Um, there'll probably be more details in that video. This one I'm just going to try to get through it pretty quickly and just show you how it works, and then show you how you can build on it with another function called filter that I'll be going over in our next higher order functions video. So here I'm continuing with the Christmas theme here, and I have our constant characters that have a couple characters from Christmas movies included in the array. Um, as I've stated before, these higher order functions are array functions that you can run on arrays and produce certain outcomes. So with the map function, it's going to work and look stylistically very much so like the for each method. And so if we run characters, if we call this array and run the map function, we're kind of doing the same thing. We're going to just say characters, we're going to use C here. C is going to be the variable that we use. It can literally be anything that you put there. We're going to keep it short and just put C. And for every character inside of characters, for every index inside of characters, we're going to map over it. And then we're going to return a new term. So I think last time I did all of the characters were great. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Character is great. Cool. So if you look here, this is the same exact thing as for each. We're calling the map function. Map is going to say we're going to iterate over every index inside of the characters array. And for every character inside of this characters array, we're going to now replace it with that character's name is great. So another thing here that we have to do is we're going to actually create a variable called great character and set it equal to this. So with the map function actually returns a value unlike the for each function. And because of that, you're going to get a brand new array. So the for each function maps iterates over the original array and it makes changes to that array. But with the map function, you're actually iterating over every index inside of the characters array, and you're going to return a new array with new values. So, with that said, we have this saved. We're going to refresh this page here, and we're going to take a look at the characters array, and we can see it hasn't been changed. We have our 6 characters here. And if we go with great character, there we go. We have Santa is great, Buddy is great, everybody is great. And we have a brand new array with those values there. We're able to return the values. Everything looks great. So let's try this with a couple numbers here. Like, why not try that out? So I'm going to make a variable called num. I'm just going to give it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so now we have those numbers. We have this array with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to use an example that I used yesterday, and it's also going to be pretty much in the document that I'm going to link in the description here. And that's going to be just doubling these numbers and how you would do it with using the map function. So we're going to use double. We're going to make a variable called double, and we're going to go over num. We're gonna map over the num array, and for each index in the num array, we're gonna return none times 2, and that should double everything. If we refresh here and we run double, we see that double is 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So that's pretty helpful. Instead of writing a for loop where we say, 4 and then I equals 0 and then go through every index and do all of that in what, like 3 lines of code. we're doing it now in one line of code, and it's much cleaner. It's more aesthetic, and you can write it faster. And it's less keystrokes. Who doesn't like typing a little bit less if you don't have to, right? So now that we have this, it's like, okay, well, what if we want to do something with that data? You could write a for loop and loop over everything, and then put an if else statement in there. Well, you just write the if else statement right after Let's try it out. So I'm gonna make a variable called Biggie Smalls, and what this is going to do, it's going to check to see if a variable is what if a var if sorry, let me back up. So Biggie Smalls is going to double is going to essentially do what double does, but then we're going to write an if else statement and say if the number is bigger than 5, then return a number, else um return smalls, right? It, we could return like Biggie and Smalls, but we're just gonna rate it just as a bunch Biggie and Small. Actually, let's do it. Why not? So we have double dot map. So we're gonna double over map. Um, here. So we're just writing a conditional here. I think I said we was gonna do the same thing that happened in double. No, we're just gonna iterate over the values of double. So if num is greater than 5, return num. Cool. So once again, we're going. Oh, num is representing. This is a variable representing every index inside a double. For every index inside a double, if that index is greater than 5, return num. And actually, just for this part, we're gonna return big E. Else, return smalls, and let's make sure that we have these as strings and not variables. And we save that. We refresh. Type in Biggie Smalls, we get small, smalls, Biggie, Biggie, Biggie. That's not really helpful. So let's return num here instead of Biggie. Refresh and go again, and we get small, small, 6, 8, 10. So that's a little bit more helpful. What if we wanted to go ahead and make this better? We could do like Biggie, smalls, shift, and we that's going to get rid of one smalls. If we go back and look at Biggie Smalls now, one of them is gone. If we do another shift, then boom, this is kind of removing. So shift is another array method that gets rid of the first index in a array, and we've called that twice, but that's also not very practical because who knows what type of array size we're dealing with, how much data we're dealing with. We just can't say that it's always going to be an array with 5 things in it. I couldn't hard code. Once we, get a value here, make sure that we're taking off the first 2 indexes. So that brings me to our next topic in the next video, and that's going to be filter. I'm going to show you how you can use for each or map and then kind of filter through data. So using the filter method, we can pretty much do what we've done here in the Biggie Smalls variable, but we can add it to on the same line as our map as our map or for each, and we can also avoid having to remove data from arrays and worry about array sizes. Um, it'll just take care of that for us. So that'll be in our next video. And now that we're at the end, I have to go ahead and ask if you're not already subscribed, if you please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps the channel grow. It allows me to do a little bit more on YouTube, and it definitely keeps me motivated and going. Also, if this video helped you anyway, I know a lot of people are starting to convert over to using higher order functions and away from for loops. And if you're new to JavaScript, even maybe you don't write for loops the same way that JavaScript does compared to other languages. So just go ahead and drop the video a like if that it's helped you in any way. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to drop something in the comments, or you can tweet me at QuetCodeFire. A lot of you guys have been giving me a lot of feedback on Twitter, and I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.